If so many Americans hate tipping, why don't they just not tip? The social pressure. If you don't tip, you're deemed ungrateful or cheap. What'll really blow your mind is that it's not uncommon to be asked to tip before a service is provided. Some food delivery apps even have an alert that not tipping can result in your order being delayed, because the drivers reject orders with no tip. I don't hate tipping. I hate the explosion of being asked to tip or being charged a fee for things that weren't classically a part of that. I'll tip when I go out to eat. I'll tip if I go to a bar. When I'm driven by Lyft or Uber. I'll tip if I get food delivered. Thing is, I never get food delivered anymore because they tack on a $5 delivery fee. Delivery used to be free. Any other service that wants tipping or a fee, I simply avoid that product or service. You want the system to change, but you want the person serving you to make rent too. Peer pressure. In SoCal, you get the eye roll if you tip anything below 20% regardless of service quality. Even worse, now you are expected to tip for when you order at the counter too. I mean, alright then, if you consider processing my payment a service, then I'd rather not do business with you. Absolutely ridiculous. I see a lot of conversation about restaurant servers here and the servers stating they deserve to be tipped. Let me put this out there. I was a paramedic for 40 years. I have brought numerous dead bodies back to life that were able to lead a normal life after. I did this for minimum wage for a few years while the company charged the patient $1,000 for my services. It is really no different than the restaurant industry. I have never once been tipped for saving a life. Why should I tip someone to hand me a cheeseburger? Because we've been socially tricked into feeling bad when we don't. Nowadays though, for me, I only tip if the service was great, I'm getting a haircut, or the food I'm ordering is super far away. If I go to a restaurant and the server is in a bad mood, the food is average, no tip for you. If you're mad you're not making much money, put it up with your boss. Because not tipping only hurts the employee, not the culture or company. Reddit opinion doesn't represent real life in this case. I will happily not tip if I am not satisfied with my service. It's a social faux pas not to. I vehemently disagree with our tipping culture, but if I simply didn't tip, I'd be seen as an asshole. It's too ingrained in our culture. Also, some places automatically charge a service fee, which is essentially an automatic tip, because it punishes the worker, victim, not the criminal. The real question should be, why do Americans continue letting restaurants not pay their staff a living wage and health care? American here. What I don't understand about tipping is how it's basically a percentage of the bill. If I go to a cheap restaurant and it costs me $15, or an expensive restaurant and it costs me $75, the waitress still did the same amount of work. Why do we do it that way? We're afraid we'll go to hell if we don't. Because if only some people don't tip and others still do, it hurts employees. If everyone suddenly stopped tipping, it would force the system to change. But you can never get everyone to agree on anything like that. Don't know how to cook and don't want spit in their food? It's extortion or blackmail. Anyway, why doesn't self-service checkout tip? Saving vast amounts of money in labor and benefits for the company. They should tip the customer. I don't want to tip, but I also don't want to screw the server over. Personally, I don't hate tipping. I hate that those employees have to rely on it. It's not their fault. So I try to be a decent tipper. But it's more I hate that the system is the way it is. Social pressure plus, don't mess with people that handle your food, rule. It depends on why you hate tipping. Here, many people like waiters and bartenders only have tipping-based income. We don't want it to be that way. So in order to truly boycott that system, we would have to deny working people income. If we don't boycott the system, nothing will change. But there is also something to be said for tips being asked for things that have never required tipping in the past.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.